let's talk about animism, which starts with anima. Anima is Latin for soul or spirit, and that's exactly what animism is. Animism is a belief system about the soul or about the spirit. I'm using those as synonymous. Animism is the view that there are spirits in animate objects and also spirits in inanimate objects. That's what animism is. Animism is a theory about the world, and it describes the world as having spirits, even if the thing is inanimate. What's inanimate again? Inanimate are the things that don't move themselves. Things like laptops and computers, but also things like mountains and lakes. Now, do lakes move? Do they move themselves? Do tornadoes move? Do they move themselves? Do rivers move? Do they move themselves? Okay, some of this is kind of controversial. But the point is that an animist would be someone who might call the soul of a lake as existing, or they might call a lake something with a soul. They might call the forest something with a soul. They might call a mountain something with a soul. An animist believes that some inanimate objects like rocks and ecosystem and forests have spirits, that there is a real, alive soul, spirit, consciousness, personality stuff that exists inside inanimate objects. So the idea is that there are souls that human beings have, but also some mountains have souls. There can be a power that the mountain has that can positively or negatively affect human beings. Animism gets often confused with lots of other theories, and so I kind of really want to talk about that. Hylozoism is the idea that the universe is alive, and that is not animism at all. Animism is not saying that the universe is alive. Panpsychism is another idea that animism gets confused with. Panpsychism is the idea that everything that exists is a soul, spirit, mind thing. And that's not what animism is saying either. Animism is saying that there are physical things in the world, and that there are some physical things in the world that do not have spirits. Animism is just saying that there are spirits that exist in physical things that don't look like they're alive and moving, but they are. So even though it doesn't look like the mountain is sad when you chisel it and put a human face in there, like in Mount Rushmore, but if that mountain was alive, then yeah, it's now damaged. So that's the point of animism, is that some inanimate objects like mountains do have a spirit. Also, vitalism is the view that we can't explain the natural world without soul, spirit, mind, non-physical stuff. And animism is not saying that either. Animism is literally the view that animate and inanimate objects can have a soul or a spirit, something that has like a will or a power to harm or hurt. Animism is not the view that every single physical thing has a spirit. In fact, some physical things don't have spirits. Not every rock has a spirit, but there are some special rocks that do have spirits, says the animist. If you think about where that word comes from, you want to know the etymology of the word or the concept. Animism, you're going to find Edward B. Tyler, who wrote this book called Primitive Culture in 1871. He coined that word animism, and his view is that complex religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam evolved from very simple religions like animism that attributes natural physical things like the environment with spirits. Now, that is not necessarily true. We don't know if that's true, and there's no way that we can go back to primitive religions unaffected by today's history and ask them what they believe or where they got their beliefs from. But that is one theory. One theory is that complex religions evolved from more basic ideas of everything being alive and having a spirit or a god. And Charles Darwin really loved Edward Tyler's idea because Tyler was talking about evolution, and Darwin loved that kind of thinking, that one thing leads to another. However, animism is not supposed to be understood as the underlying first way humans were religious. In fact, animism is not a religion. Animism is not telling you what to praise or who to praise or how to praise or why to praise or what to praise something for. Animism is not itself a religion, but lots of primitive religions or tribal religions, indigenous religions like Native Americans, for example, or West African tribes, for example, are animistic. But you can be animistic and also be a Christian, for example. You can think that there is a spirit behind physical things like mountains. And so animism is not a religion. It is not panpsychism. It is not vitalism. It is not hylozoism.